That evening, as the sky darkened with the quiet threat of a storm, Lisa pretended to be alone and vulnerable. She waited. She didn't call security. She didn't alert anyone. She knew where Victoria would take her. She had already bugged the old factory Victoria's family once owned. That's where Ava had been taken, and that's where Lisa would be brought. Just after midnight, it happened. Lisa had just stepped outside to take a walk when a black van screeched to a halt. Two men in masks grabbed her, and before she could react, she was pulled inside and blindfolded. But even as they drove, Lisa's heart was steady. Every turn, every bump, every voice was being recorded, because Lisa had prepared for this moment for months. When she was finally thrown onto the cold concrete floor of that abandoned factory, she heard the footsteps approaching. And then, the blindfold came off. Lisa blinked through the dim light and saw them. Victoria. And Ava's husband. Just like in her nightmares. But this time, Lisa was ready. Victoria crouched beside her, brushing a strand of hair from Lisa's face with a twisted smile. "You look scared," she said softly. "That's good. You should be." Lisa stared up at her, unmoved. "What do you want from me?" Victoria chuckled, her tone playful and dangerous. "I want your life, darling. You tried to steal mine. You thought you could just walk in, bat your lashes, and take my husband?" "I didn't take anything from you," Lisa replied coldly. "You lost him all by yourself." The slap was sudden and sharp, echoing in the empty factory. Victoria's eyes burned with rage. "You have no idea who you're dealing with. I killed Ava. I watched the life fade from her eyes when she dared to threaten me. And now, it's your turn." Lisa's lips curled into a slow smile. "Thank you," she whispered. Victoria blinked. "What?" Lisa stood, brushing dust off her clothes. "Thank you, for the confession." Suddenly, loud footsteps thundered through the warehouse. Red and blue lights flashed from the corners. Police burst through every door, weapons drawn. "Freeze," the lead officer shouted. "Everyone on the ground." Victoria's face twisted in horror. "What is this?" Lisa turned toward her, calm and confident. "Everything you just said?" It was broadcasted live. The hidden cameras. The microphones. Your little speech was seen by thousands, including the police. "You're done." Victoria spun toward her partner in crime, Ava's husband, but he had already backed into a corner, shaking, murmuring, "I didn't know. I didn't mean." "You're both murderers," Lisa said, eyes sharp as blades. "You took Ava from this world, but she gave me strength. I promised her I would get justice. And now, it's here." Victoria screamed in denial as handcuffs were slammed onto her wrists. "No. Aiden won't believe you. He'll come for me. He'll protect me." But just as the words left her mouth, Aiden walked in through the main doors. His eyes didn't even pause on his wife. He went straight to Lisa. "Are you all right?" he asked, voice trembling with worry. Lisa nodded. Victoria tried to reach for him. "Aiden, no. You know me. You love me." This is all her lie. Aiden's face was cold, unreadable. "I believed you once. And it cost someone their life. I won't make that mistake again." He turned to the officers. "Take them both. Make sure they never walk free again." Victoria collapsed in rage, screaming, cursing Lisa's name, but it was over. Her empire of lies had crumbled. And the woman she thought weak had outsmarted her at every turn. The police dragged Victoria and Ava's husband out of the warehouse, their screams echoing into the night like ghosts clinging to power they no longer had. Lisa stood still for a long moment, her hands trembling not with fear, but with release. Years of hiding, planning, waiting, all had led to this. Justice wasn't always clean. Sometimes, it came soaked in the same darkness it fought to destroy. Aiden was still by her side, eyes wide, shaken by everything he had just witnessed. He had seen many things in his life, betrayals, lies, deals written in blood, but he had never imagined his wife would fall so low. And never imagined Lisa would rise so high. He turned to her, carefully placing a hand on her arm. "You saved my life," he said quietly. "You saved Ava's memory. And you saved yourself." Lisa looked at him, but her face was unreadable. "I didn't do it to be saved," she said. "I did it to stop running." They stood in silence for a few moments more until the remaining officers cleared the scene. Aiden offered to take her home, but she declined. She needed air. She needed time. So she walked. The city looked different that night. Maybe because her fear was gone. Maybe because her heart, which had been surrounded by walls, was finally beating freely again. But even then, Aiden couldn't forget her. The next morning, flowers arrived at Lisa's door. Then again, the next day. And the day after that. Every single day, without fail, Aiden sent her something. Sometimes flowers, sometimes a book, sometimes just a handwritten note. But she didn't respond. She didn't text, didn't call, didn't visit. She had found peace in her silence. Weeks passed. Victoria's trial dominated headlines. The recordings Lisa had provided became centerpieces of the case. Ava's family cried in the courtroom when justice was finally served. The nation watched, gasped, and mourned the young assistant who had been lost too soon. Lisa became a symbol of quiet power, not a victim, but a survivor who stood tall when the storm came. And Aiden? He waited. Every night, he would find himself holding his phone, rereading old texts, staring at her photo. Not the photos the world posted, not the glamorous red carpet shots, but the ones he had taken, in stolen moments. Her, sipping coffee in his library. Her, reading with her feet tucked under her. Her, half smiling when she thought no one was looking. He had destroyed his own marriage long ago. Not through infidelity, but through silence, neglect, and pride. Victoria had played her part, yes. But so had he. Now all he wanted was Lisa. And Lisa? She wanted peace. She spent her days in studios, working on new film projects, supporting Ava's family anonymously, and writing her memoir in private. She didn't need fame. She didn't want revenge anymore. She had tasted something more powerful, clarity. But Aiden wouldn't give up. One morning, Lisa opened her door to find a small box on her doorstep. Inside was a velvet case. She expected jewelry, but it wasn't that. Instead, it was a key. And a note. "This key opens the library at my estate. The one you loved. You once said it felt like a place where stories could be safe. I wanted you to have it. Whether you ever walk in again or not, it's yours. A." Lisa stared at the key in her hand for a long time. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She just stood there. That night, Aiden waited in the library. But she didn't come. The next night, the same. It was the third night when he heard the door creak open. Footsteps. Light ones. He turned around, heart pounding like a teenager's. Lisa stood in the doorway, wearing simple black, elegant, quiet, unbothered by how beautiful she looked in that moment. "You're persistent," she said. He smiled faintly. "I've been called worse." She stepped closer. "What do you want from me, Aiden?" His smile faded. "I want a second chance. Not to make you mine. But to show you that I'm not the man I used to be." Lisa's eyes searched his. "And if I don't want you at all?" "Then I'll walk away," he said. "But I'll keep sending you flowers. I'll keep rooting for you from the shadows. Because I love you, Lisa. I think I always did, even when I was trying to ignore it." There was a long silence. The kind that stretched across two hearts unsure if they could ever beat in rhythm. And then Lisa stepped forward, slowly, and placed the key back into his hand. "Then unlock the door yourself," she whispered. And she left. She wasn't ready yet. But maybe someday, she would be. Days passed. Then weeks. Lisa returned to her world, calm, busy, and carefully balanced. She wasn't hiding anymore, but she wasn't chasing anything either. She worked during the day, spent her evenings in quiet solitude, and every now and then, she'd pause in the middle of writing or filming, remembering his voice. His hands. The way he looked at her when he wasn't trying to. She didn't want to admit it, but he lived inside her now. Not in a destructive way, not like the chaos she had expected. But like a thread, quiet, steady, tying itself around her heart. And still, every morning without fail, there were fresh flowers. She finally began to believe that not all love destroys. Sometimes, if you wait long enough, heal deep enough, and protect your soul fiercely enough, love can save you too.